you're not listening to Pubcast, the terrorists are winning. That's what Jay Moore says.
Welcome to the Pubcast. Sit down and enjoy a pint.
The ultimate rush. Nothing that comes close to it. Not even sex.
We are the ex-president.
Total commitment. It's a real thin line between life and death.
I'm not a crook.
It's not tragic to die doing what you love. If you want the ultimate, you gotta be willing to pay the ultimate price.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and please don't forget to vote.
You want to nail the bank robbers and be a big hero? Definitely. The ex-presidents are surfers.
You're trying to tell me the FBI is going to pay me to learn to surf?
Fear causes hesitation. Hesitation will cause your worst fears to come true.
You'll take it to the edge. Past it.
This is gonna be a great day, Johnny.
I think taxpayers would like it, Utah, if they knew that they were paying a federal agent to surf and pick up girls.
Babes.
Big one.
The correct term is babes, sir.
Adios, amigos.
100% pure adrenaline.
Neither one of you have anything even remotely interesting to tell me.
Caught my first tube this morning, sir.
All right, well, let's get into it. Point Break, 1991. So this is the no-nonsense plot. This is so far my favorite one of all the ones we've done.
All right.
Of all the, what I'm calling the no-nonsense plot, the dry, just get to the bottom of it description of the movie. An FBA agent goes undercover to catch a gang of surfers who may be bank robbers. The end.
Wow.
That is succinct.
I do get a kick out of it.
Interesting.
So I'll put it to you guys. What was your overall reaction to the movie? Do you remember seeing it? Do you remember, was it in the theater? Did you catch it later on video? What did you think about Point Break when it came out? July of 91.
For me, I know I did not see it in the theater. I am pretty confident it was a video rental at some point in college. And I didn't remember tons of scenes of it. Like, it was not like always a go back and watch this movie regularly, like of some of the other ones that we've watched. But there were certain scenes, it would be on cable, it would be whatever, and I felt like I kept catching the same scenes over and over again. Totally. And there were definitely, in rewatching it, like, oh, I totally forgot about this or that. And it was well after the theatrical release that I saw it.
I can't remember really any of these. When I ask these questions, I can't remember if I saw it in the theater or not. Because unless there's some specific memory of that situation, I'm almost positive I saw this in the theater when it came out. I'm sure I would have, because that's all we did was go see movies. Right. So I definitely saw it, and putting this together for this podcast, and after doing some of the ones we've done recently, like Goodfellas or whatever, where it's all quotes, it's all just, the whole thing is just a memorable quote factory.
Yeah.
This one is almost nothing. You can't find any quotes that are super memorable. I mean, you can pull one or two, but if you set them, for the most part, set them at a party without setting them up, people wouldn't know what the hell you're talking about.
Agree.
But they wouldn't know what movie you're referencing. They wouldn't know what character. No idea.
Right.
Eric, what do you think?
The first time I saw the movie was when it was broadcast on TV, like a couple of years after it came out. I remember when it came out, and because it was very big and it was covered on Entertainment Tonight a lot.
You saw it with commercials.
Yeah, so the first time I saw it was commercials, and I don't think when I turned it on, it was already well into the movie.
Yeah.
Like I might have even turned it on like during the foot chase.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah, but as far, I agree with you. There's a couple like Busey's got like one or two quotes that people remember, and
but think about that. The quote you remember the most from this movie isn't from one of the two leads. It's from like a side character at best, right? Weird.
Yeah.
I feel like it's visuals of this movie that I recall more than dialogue. Totally. I mean, it's. I don't think it's known for its witty banter and screenplay writing. No. It is all about dudes surfing and chase scenes and
skydiving.
Yeah. That's
the end.
Yeah, that's it. I think my description is much better than your IMDb.
If you talk about this movie and you don't mention surfing and skydiving, the description from IMDb doesn't say skydiving whatsoever. So this is only a skydiving movie, if anything. Surfing, sure, but yeah. All right. Point Break. It had a domestic box office performance of... Do you want to guess, or should I just tell you?
This was at 91.
91.
I'm going to guess 45 million.
Eric, what do you got?
I was going to guess 50.
All right. Domestic, 43 million.
Woo!
Nice.
All right. Do I get a point for this? I feel like I need to store it up for later games.
That's close enough to a win. That's fine with me. So, to put it in perspective, it made 43 million domestic, 40 international for 83 worldwide.
Okay.
In 91, that's a big movie. It wasn't a $100 million movie, but there's no special effects in it. It's not some kind of blockbuster thing. But as we said before, 91 is arguably the greatest movie year ever.
91?
Yeah.
We've argued that?
We've argued that.
I thought we argued like 86.
It was 84 I thought was the big one.
Well, this one has...
Okay. Lay it on us.
I wasn't going to get into this. Now I have to pull it up.
Now you do.
We mentioned this because Goodfellas came out this year.
Oh.
And it doesn't crack the top 140.
Goodfellas didn't?
No.
I don't remember that fun fact.
Box of, see, now I have to do this. Mojo. Yeah. So I'll get there in a second, but just for context, Point Break finished 26th in the box office. Fine. Right below Thelma and Louise, and right above Regarding Henry.
Wow.
For whatever that's worth.
Got it.
But so I won't go through all of them, but 91 has movies, a list of movies that includes, but is not limited to, Terminator 2, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves. That's number 2.
Heck yeah.
I'm going to cut your heart out with a spoon.
Alan Rickman.
Oh my God. Home Alone, Silence of the Lambs, City Slickers, Dances with Wolves, Sleeping with the Enemy, The Addams Family,
Wow.
Run 2.5, Backdraft, Beauty and the Beast, the Walt Disney one. That was a big movie. Hook, What About Bob, Kindergarten Cop, Cape Fear, Boys in the Hood, Doc Hollywood, Awakenings, New Jack City, The Rocketeer, Point Break, My Girl, The Fisher King, Godfather 3, as we mentioned, Goodfellas as well. Bill and Ted, number 2. Soap Dish, King Ralph. All right, we're getting down sort of
right.
it. Jungle Fever, Edward Scissorhands, L.A. Story, Father of the Bride. I mean, these are, down in the 40s and 50s and 60s. And
right.
those are all movies you at least know by name, that you've
right.
seen and are on all the time. So, Goodfellas, not in the top 100 with box office. Right? 100. I think that's what I had. Let me check it again. It's one. Yeah. Goodfellas, 144.
Man.
I think that may have been a late release or something.
Yeah.
But regardless.
Yeah.
91 is a juggernaut with as far as a movie.
And this movie was like at the peak of Swayze-ness. Like it was his.
This is Swayze right after it coming off of Ghost and Roadhouse.
Yes.
He flies into Point Break.
Yes.
Swayze at the peak of his powers?
Yes.
It has to be,
yeah.
right? All right. So that brings us to the Rotten Tomatoes score. What do we've got audience and critics. Let's go audience first. What do we think the audience for Rotten Tomatoes was for this one? What do you think they said?
I'm going to say 85.
I'll say 75.
Rotten Tomato audience score was 79.
Wow.
And the critics? What do you think, Al? Audience was 79.
I'm going to say 75.
I will say 70.
It is 70.
Listen, Eric.
Eric gets it on the board. So that's pretty much.
This is like the only time that any of us have ever even come close. We always get this wrong.
Well, the only thing that threw me off is it was number 26 or whatever it was on the list. Like I guess it's one of those things that you had the draw of Patrick Swayze, but maybe people didn't like it as much, but they still went and saw it.
That Keanu kid in an unusual role. So he had Bill and Ted's 2 and Point Break in the same year.
Right.
Whatever that's worth, I don't know.
Yeah, that's an interesting stat.
So 70 and 79, so somewhere around there. I think that's exactly where you would put it, right? It's like, I'd go see it, sure, but it's not like some amazing movie. Okay. So now to the fun facts. I'm sure you guys all saw most of these, but working titles for Point Break. It was not always called Point Break. The 2 of the working titles it was under were Johnny Utah, just calling it Johnny Utah, and Riders on the Storm.
I like that one better than Johnny Utah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Riders on the Storm, well, first of all, it's singular.
It's got a surfing angle. It's got the 50-year storm angle.
Right. But, yeah. All right. I'm not going to pull that apart because they didn't use it. So whatever.
Yeah.
They saw the flaws.
Yeah. The character name of Johnny Utah was inspired by and a directly rip-off of Joe Montana, the quarterback for the 49ers and Notre Dame.
Nice.
I love the plain Jane first name followed by the state last name.
Right.
That's good. Johnny Utah. Okay. Columbia Pictures bought the script. I'm not going to go in. There's stories about the producer one of the co-producers had the idea while he was sitting on the beach and had this idea of surfer bank robbers and whatever.
Right.
And then this guy wrote it, and then the screenwriter wrote it and was only paid $6,000 and was waiting tables at the time he wrote it. So he was like writing at night while waiting tables during the day, whatever, who cares? But so Columbia Pictures bought the script in '86. It was attached to Ridley Scott, who's going to direct it, specifically for him. And it had Matthew Broderick as Johnny Utah and Charlie Sheen as Bodie.
Huh.
So they were, in what I read, they were tied together early on in this development of this movie. Were they offered? I don't know if we can get that far, but so a lot of the facts I have sort of eat into any of the casting issues we talk about later. So this is just one big category of
facts is
nonsense.
trivia.
Yeah,
facts is trivia.
Okay, so in '86 they had Sheen and Broderick. That fell through, and the script sat around until 1990. So it sat around for 4 years when Catherine Bigelow got interested. And so she reworked the script with her husband. You may know him as James Cameron.
Right.
And so they wrote it together. And she came to the producers with one non-negotiable demand. If you want to buy this reworked script from us, for me to direct, I'll do it, but you've got to do one thing. I want Keanu Reeves as Johnny Utah.
Wow.
She's the one that made Keanu the guy.
Keanu. Wow.
Which, at the time, no one saw him in
Right.
this role ever. He had not done Speed. Yeah, I guess he was good for the surfing part, right?
Right.
This sort of dopey guy. And one thing I thought was interesting is that in the original screenplay or script, there was a character written as the girlfriend, for lack of a better term, but she was more of a stereotypical California surfer girl, blonde hair. I didn't see a name for this character, but anyway, Bigelow scrapped it and created the Tyler character herself. So she changed it from the California surfer girl to more tomboyish, the androgynous sort of build, the dark short crop haircut, the whole thing, which was an interesting move, especially when you have like the surfer guy in Bodie with the Swayze. So Lori Petty was good in this, but a strange casting at the time as well, I think. Eric, how many movies has Lori Petty been in? She's been in this, Tank Girl, and A League of Their Own. League of Their Own, right? And what else?
I remember she much later she was on Orange is the New Black.
Right. We talked about this.
But beyond that, I can't. Nothing really comes to mind.
So,
obviously nothing of consequence.
No, she kind of. I mean, she was sort of nearing her apex already with this movie and then League of Their Own. That was it.
Yeah, she peaked pretty quickly.
So this is sort of, I think, well documented. Swayze was a skydiver before this movie. He had done a bunch of jumps previously. I think his brother got him involved in some way or something. And during the filming, he did something like 55 jumps during the, he did his own skydiving jumps, except when they had to be together and filmed while they were talking in the air. Like those weren't real jumps, obviously. But everything else, when you see Swayze out in the air doing his flips or whatever, that's the real deal.
But I heard though that she made him stop doing them because every time he jumps, there's risk.
Insurance.
And so it's like, okay, you can only do it for the movie and everything else has got to stop until we're done filming.
Yeah, I saw a lot of competing stuff on this. Like, was he told to stop? I saw one where he was convinced to do the movie by, okay, I can't let you do a bunch of skydiving, but you can do the final jump or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he broke that constantly all over the place. So I don't know what is real and what's fake, what's just made up. He's just a skydiving legend at this point, like a myth.
Yeah.
The legend of Swayze skydiving above California.
Right.
Okay, here's one. Oh, none of the cast could surf at all before coming into the movie, so they had to learn on the fly, and I don't think any of them are very good. In particular, Johnny Utah is shown surfing both regular-footed and goofy-footed, which is regular is your left foot is forward, your right foot is back. Like if you're right-handed, you would be like a regular surfer, a regular skateboarder with your right foot back. Goofy-footed is the opposite. It's the other way, facing the other way. So I think they used just different stunt guys to do the surfing for Keanu, and they didn't really care about continuity.
Got it.
The last one I have is, and I just saw this at the last thing that I put together for this deal. Do you know what Bodhi stands for, or
no.
What he's named after? Eric, do you know this one?
I think in the movie it's Bodhisattva.
Damn it.
But I don't know what it means.
Do they say it in the movie?
Yeah.
They do?
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Lori Petty's character says Bodhisattva, but I do not know what it means.
So what I found is it's Bodhisattva, Bodhisattva, all one word, Bodhisattva. And it's a Sanskrit term used by Buddhists to describe an enlightened person who's able to reach nirvana, but out of compassion decides to save others.
Okay.
Take what you will from that. I don't know.
Right.
Very complicated name for a dopey movie. I don't get it. So that's all I got as far as trivia. I didn't find a lot more out there.
Got it.
Did you?
I've got a couple of things, and one of them was a bit spoiled on the Facebook pre-announcement of this podcast, but there was a stage play called Point Break Live! ! Where they performed this play, and they would pull an audience member up each night to play Johnny Utah, and they read the lines off of a cue card because they thought it would be more in line with kind of the awkward performance of Keanu Reeves and the flat performance of Keanu Reeves in that movie.
That's great.
Which is kind of funny.
I love
it. The beach scenes were filmed at the same beach where they did Inception and The Karate Kid.
I saw The Karate Kid. I didn't know the Inception part, though.
Yeah.
That's good.
Apparently, Keanu Reeves is a terrible football player. And so the scene where they're playing football and he supposedly throws a pass, they had to use a stunt person to do it because he couldn't throw the football for people to be able to catch it.
I definitely believe that.
All right. Okay. I love that that's a thing because fast forward 8 or 9 years.
Yeah.
When he starred in The Replacements and he was the quarterback in that movie, the IMDb trivia for that movie claims that the Baltimore Ravens offered Keanu Reeves a tryout based on his skills in that movie.
Ridiculous.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, so
unless the tryout is for publicity purposes, there's no
nonsense.
It's
exactly
not for the skills. In the movie, when I think it's Pappas says that Bodie eats lunch frequently at Patrick's Roadhouse is the name of the restaurant. Obviously, it's a
That's good.
Patrick Swayze nod to his name in the movie.
That's a good one.
And then the last one is that in the big foot chase that happens like through the aqueduct channels and all of that stuff, all the what do you call it?
You said it.
Well, no, I was talking about all the moves, jumping on stuff and whatever. I can never remember what it's called. Parkour.
Parkour in 91. All right. I didn't really. All right.
But in that foot chase, the Bodie character has the mask on the whole time. Because it's not actually Patrick Swayze doing that. He is off in Europe doing the press tour for Ghost. Yeah. And so he didn't actually see that scene and how it turned out until it was released or until the premiere.
Yeah.
So they had to keep the mask on that guy, but it worked for the purposes of the movie anyway. But it's funny that I remember watching it this last time. I'm like, my God, that's a lot of running in a rubber mask.
Pretty much anytime you see a guy, see someone
sweat ball,
see someone on screen doing a bunch of stuff where you can't see their face, it's never the guy or the girl or whoever. Right. That reminds me that in that viaduct jump where Keanu blows out his knee on the beach when they're playing football and goofing off with all the surfer guys. Yeah. In between takes, they kept playing football and were goofing off, and it was a lot of sort of one-upsmanship. And that supposedly Swayze blew out his knee playing football, and they like in a bad way, and they had to inject it and keep draining the fluid out of it throughout the shoot because he really messed his knee up playing sand football.
Yeah, I think it's bad enough playing on grass. To try to play that in sand would be insane.
No, you can't. There's a lot of
there's no quick stop and cut in sand.
No, it's just you get a lot of bad tackling, I think, altogether. Okay.
Eric, did you have any?
The only thing I know that the final scene on the beach in Australia, I don't remember the exact circumstances, but I know that there was a long gap in between shooting of that scene and the rest of the movie. Sure. And it was, because like I said, I don't remember the circumstances, but I remember them because I think I saw it on like the DVD extras or something, and they were talking about how well it worked out.
Bells Beach or whatever.
Yeah, it worked out because both actors had kind of moved on to their other projects, and that's why like Patrick Swayze had cut his hair because he had cut it for another movie.
Yeah,
and Keanu Reeves' hair was grown out. Yeah, because he had started to grow it out for Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey. So, so it was just something that they felt like worked out really well. But I honestly, I should have.
Yeah.
I guess I should have thought about a little bit more about it. But I know that was. I think it was like a last minute change, even.
Yeah.
I think that's right. I think that's right.
They changed the ending.
I don't know if it was I think there was
I didn't see that.
Maybe it was an addition.
Yeah.
I think it was supposed to end a different way, and I think it was an added scene.
Yeah.
But they ended up liking it because it, like Eric said, it's the characters have moved on. Keanu Reeves has left the FBI, so he's grown his hair out and kind of all this stuff.
Yeah. And like Patrick Swayze's on the run, so he was trying to hide who he was, so he cut his hair to change his look, and it just all sort of worked out.
When they hired that pro surfer, what's his name, to do the surfing for it, and I think it was in Hawaii, actually. It definitely wasn't at Bell's Beach or whatever, but wherever they went, they got lucky with the waves. They were actually bigger than expected. And the surfer guy, this awesome surfer, was hired to do this stunt, and the stunt was wipe out on this gigantic wave. And
yeah,
he did it. It's great, but that's not the real you want as an awesome surfer.
Well,
I can't imagine wiping out on that wave either.
I was just going to say, like, how do you recover from that? I mean, the whole thing about wiping out on that wave is you believe that somebody is going to die. Like there is no living if you wipe out on that wave, and yet, I mean,
those big wave surfers.
It's incredible.
I'm sure it didn't feel good.
That's a lot. That's a lot of holding your breath.
It's like being in a washing machine for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a few people who were cast as different people. We talked about most of this. The only things I have are Johnny Utah and Bodhi.
Okay.
I got nothing for anybody else. And some of these, a couple of these are, I don't know if I believe it or not. We talked about Johnny Utah being Matthew Broderick. And we talked about Charlie Sheen as Bodhi, I think, right? I have him in both places, but sure, Bodhi is Charlie Sheen. I've also got Patrick Swayze was up for Johnny Utah to begin with, and then he said, "No, I don't. I'm the Bodhi character. Definitely, I'm not doing Johnny Utah." The others up for...
Although it's funny, like I think of Johnny Utah, but then I think I'm just thinking of Johnny Castle and
Johnny Castle.
That's his name in Dirty Dancing.
Oh.
So
yeah.
That's all I got to add.
Great. Swayze said no. Then the other ones for Johnny Utah, we talked about Broderick, Swayze, Johnny Depp, Val Kilmer. I could see Val Kilmer doing that.
I can see Johnny Depp doing that too.
Yeah. And then the one, I saw this in one place and I don't believe it at all, was Willem Dafoe as Johnny Utah.
What? Was he just angry?
I can't imagine.
If anything, he would have been a Pappas.
Right. But he had to have been too old, right?
In 91, though? I think Willem Dafoe has always looked he's looked the same for 40 years.
Well,
so even when he was young, he looked old. And now that he's older, he looks the same.
Even at his
age,
physical best.
He's perpetually 50 years old.
He still looks like he's short like 2 quarts of blood. Like he's not the big quarterback guy. So I didn't get that one. That might be a phony one, but whatever. The only other Bodhi that I saw, I guess we mentioned Charlie Sheen, Swayze's Bodhi, of course. The only other one I saw was, it appears to have been offered to him or it was close, and he turned it down because of scheduling issues, was Michael Biehn from The Terminator.
Oh.
And Grease.
And The Abyss and Grease.
Wow.
I don't know that he's a Bodhi either, but he's the only name that I saw. So
he could be a Bodhi.
See him as Bodhi.
I can see him as a Bodhi.
I'm not opposed to it, but yeah, it's interesting. So that brings us to America's favorite
game show,
home game show. It's a recasting debate. It's recaster bait.
Better close the door. It's time to recasturbate.
All right. We have really a big 4. And then the entire casting of the movie pretty much just falls off, and it could be anybody playing anything at any time. Who cares? It is really only Bodhi, Johnny Utah, Agent Pappas, and Tyler. I'm going to throw in FBI Director Ben Harp only because it was played by John C. McGinley.
Right.
So you recognize him from Scrubs or wherever.
Right.
But after that, there is nobody else in this movie. They're just a bunch of people.
Right.
What do you think, Eric? Am I missing anybody?
I did the same. I'm on board with that, but for obvious reasons, I did have to cast a Rosie.
Oh, a Rosie. See, I know what you're going to do there, and I didn't do Rosie. I did somebody else.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, so let's start this off. Do we want to start with Bodhi?
Sure.
All right. I had a tough time with Bodhi because I found myself getting sucked into finding someone in the same sort of color palette as Bodhi.
Right.
Blondish hair, sort of blondie brown, not dark hair, not, a redhead or anything. So I found myself looking at guys with that same sort of coloring, right? So I think the obvious one that I'm going to bet we all have on our list.
Okay.
If we don't, all three of us have this guy on our short list of Bodhies, then I don't know what we're doing.
We don't know each other.
Yeah, I think we should just shut it down.
I agree. I've got one that I am confident all of us have to have.
I'll be doing a recaster rate for my own podcast. I'm going to recast the entire show. So the one, he's not my number one, but he's on my list, and he has to be on all of our lists. I think it's Ryan Gosling.
Oh, no.
That's not who I have.
Damn it.
Oh, no, I have a different one that I was totally confident we would all have.
Because he fits my coloring deal, but also we mentioned him in every podcast, so I figured he would slide right into this one. Damn it. All right. The next episode, you will hear an entirely new bunch of people, because I can't do this anymore. So Ryan Gosling, and then I have two other wild cards. One is Charlie Hunnam.
I don't know who
from The Gentleman.
Oh, yeah.
And Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
I have him as my Bodhi, possible. And then I have a definite wild card here. I'm taking a left turn at Adam Driver.
Oh, my God. I got him somewhere else.
Wow. That's a good one.
So that's my Bodhi.
Oh, my God. All right. So I had kind of the same issue as you. I guess knowing that if they're a full-time, I'll call it full-time surfer, they're going to have the bleached out hair and all that stuff. So I agree with you. There was a bit of kind of typecasting, or I kind of kept focusing in. So I had Armie Hammer as one. Theo James, who is 4 from the Divergent movies.
Yeah.
And then the one that I thought we would all have is Chris Hemsworth.
That's who I have.
I have him somewhere else.
I have, I have Chris Hemsworth was my number one. In a different world, I had possibly Carl Urban, but I don't know, he comes off as maybe a little bit too intense. But then the other, my wild card.
Carl Urban? Who is that?
He was Éomer in Lord of the Rings, and he was in.
He was the bald head.
The Bourne Supremacy, the second one.
He was shooting the guns.
In Thor Ragnarok?
Ragnarok, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
He was Dr. Bones in the Star Trek.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. But my wild card for Bodhi is Keanu Reeves.
I had him somewhere else. Oh my God.
Oh my God, we are insane.
But Chris Hemsworth is my number one.
Yeah. Well, Eric, it took knowing each other nearly 44 years to know that we would be on the same page. Whereas Brendan, we've got a mere 27, so that's why we weren't fully in sync on the Chris Hemsworth.
Yeah,
one.
so I'm only off by a little bit because Johnny Utah, I had Chris Hemsworth. Chris Hemsworth was my Johnny Utah. I figured big, strong quarterback guy. That would be my Chris Hemsworth dude. Then I have two other ones. I think my second one might even be a better Johnny Utah, though.
Okay.
This would be Miles Teller. I thought he hit it pretty close. And then I go with the number 3, my third wild card, left turn at Ezra Miller.
Oh, interesting.
I have Ezra Miller. I did put Ezra Miller somewhere else.
Yeah. He doesn't quite, he's such a quirky sort of actor.
Yeah.
I don't know how he works with something like that, but so was Keanu Reeves 30 years ago.
So this character, Johnny Utah, I had a lot of different names, and like you could look, and I've like got names and I crossed them off, and so I had I'm gonna go through them quickly. Joseph Gordon-Levitt was one that I had. Yeah. Brendan, you might like this guy, Jonathan Groff, who is the Mindhunter guy. He was King George and Hamilton, and Scott Eastwood.
Yeah.
Scott Eastwood is on my list.
Yeah.
And then I had, and I really started laughing when I wrote it down, which was Adam Driver.
Yeah. I thought that was too on the nose.
I know, but that's why I thought it was so funny. Like I was scrolling through online and I saw him with the hair, and I'm like, oh my God, of course it's him.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Keanu Reeves is the proto Adam Driver.
Version 2.0.
Yeah.
All right. So I also had Scott Eastwood. I had if we're doing the movie where Keanu Reeves is Bodhi, I think I would have Charlie Hunnam as my Johnny Utah, but
you son of a bitch.
But
I was looking for spots to put in Charlie Day.
But I also considered Taron Egerton. I don't know if you could pull off. I don't know if
he was one of my ones that I crossed him off.
Yeah, I don't know if you could pull off an American California accent or not. And then I also thought Aaron Taylor Johnson, who was Kick-Ass and Quicksilver.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's not bad. I like that one.
But yeah, none of my Johnny Utahs I was particularly excited about. I had a hard time with that one.
So we can come back to this, but because you mentioned Charlie Day,
I said Charlie Hunnam.
Oh, Charlie Hunnam. Damn it! I said Charlie Day. All right, because
I do have a spot for Charlie Day though.
Because I said Charlie Day, I'm going to break protocol and go to. I don't have any names here other than I wrote down the names and the masks they wear of the ex-president group. And then below it, I wrote, is there a place for Charlie Day in this group? I think there is somewhere. He could be one of the presidents for sure. But since we're doing that, here are the ex-presidents and their people, their the actual actors under it, or the characters under the mask.
Wow.
Roach is Nixon, Nathaniel is Carter, and Gromit is Lyndon B. Johnson. And then Swayze or Bodhi is Reagan. So yeah, Charlie Day. We'll come back to him. Do we want to go Agent Pappas first or Tyler first?
It's up to you, man.
I'm going to go Pappas because I only have 2.
Okay.
I have one because I try to throw this guy into most movies. I think when we do this, my Agent Pappas. My number 2 Agent Pappas would be Paul Giamatti.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going with him. My number 1 is a good, solid left turn. It's Benedict Wong, who plays Wong in the Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah.
The Avengers stuff.
Oh, that's a good one.
I like him as Pappas.
Yeah.
Although, I think we're changing his name to Wong, though.
Right.
Agent Wong.
So I think I got kind of stuck. Well, I've got three names here that I don't think I've ever thought of or used as a part of the recasting. So I have Russell Crowe.
I considered him. Yeah.
He can play kind of a nutty character, and so I kind of like that.
He's good.
Number 2 is Sean Penn. And I started laughing when I wrote it down.
Yeah, that's a good one.
It's good. You do sort of age up Agent Pappas a bit.
Right.
You've got a little bit of Sean Penn from Colors and however many cops he's played.
Right.
Yeah, that's good.
But there's the California aspect, like there's a lot there that kind of works. And then the number 1 that I had that I think could play kind of a goofy but serious character is Dennis Quaid.
Oh, Dennis Quaid.
Dennis Quaid, not Randy.
I thought Randy for a second.
No,
I almost got nuts.
No. Dennis Quaid.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I really only came up with 2 names for Pappas. One of them I really do like. The other one, not as much. The one I don't like as much is Sam Rockwell.
Oh.
But
is he just dancing all the time?
Yeah. My favorite one I think is just the right amount of and the right kind of crazy is Michael Shannon.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. I mean, you can throw in a Tom Hardy
Michael
here,
Shannon.
But
hold that thought. Let's move on to Tyler.
Okay.
I've got 3 here. I think I have a number 1. I could almost flip a coin with all of them, but yeah, I've got 3. I may throw in a 4th just because. So, yeah, let's go in descending order or ascending order. My number 4.
Whoa.
I'm gonna go 4. Yeah, is Kristen Stewart.
Damn it! I
Tyler.
was convinced you would not have come up with that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
My number 2 and 3.
Wow.
Are sisters. I'm going Kate Mara and Rooney Mara.
Wow.
Although honestly, the choices would be Kate Mara. I think she could do it. But I think my number 1 is Brie Larson for Tyler.
Got it. That's good.
I don't know if she can pull off the short haircut because it looked insane in Captain Marvel or whatever, the Avengers with that short blonde weird thing.
But she had a giant like Conan O'Brien pompadour kind of situation happening.
Yeah.
So I had 3. One was Jessica Biel.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I took her out because I thought she was too old.
But she worked with my people that I picked for Bodhi.
Yeah.
The number 2 I had was Zendaya.
Well, I almost had her in there.
And then number 1 that I had, because I thought she'd be perfect for the role, and it's really playing off of the same actress, which is Kristen Stewart. I thought she would be the right person for this character.
Yeah, I think it's a good solid.
Because I think, they went with what's her name because wanting a more athletic
playing against type, right?
Yeah,
or against stereotype,
right?
Yeah.
Not the and more the surfer.
Yeah,
athletic.
Yeah. So I also had 4, and 3 of my 4 have already been mentioned, and I will. Zendaya was my number 4. I think she's a little bit too young. Brie Larson, I thought of. My number 2 was the one that nobody's mentioned yet, and I think could work, but it would be going more towards the traditional sort of surfer type girl than what was played by Lori Petty. But I thought Margot Robbie.
Oh yeah.
And then my number one was also Kristen Stewart, because I think she's the closest modern equivalent to Lori Petty then is Kristen Stewart now.
She was the last one I thought of, and I'm like, oh, she really fits it.
Yeah. My gosh, that's the one that we all three had.
I know.
Yep.
No, I had Hemsworth just in a different spot. Okay, FBI director Ben Harp, played by McGinley. So this is where Eric, you said Michael Shannon for something else. This is where I have Michael Shannon.
Oh.
The other option I have there is, I think this is a guy that is showing up for me almost in a lot of the most recent podcasts. I'm throwing down an Anthony Mackie as my Ben Harp FBI director.
Okay.
He's young though, isn't he? To be in that role?
Probably. Yeah.
All right. I did not cast him, so I don't that character. So I don't have. You didn't put in like Tilda Swinton for like a character here?
I considered it. Yeah. Well, so this was one of the movies I was considering. Let's just do an entire gender swap.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a much different movie. It didn't make sense to me at all to do that. So I figured forget it. But you could easily do a top to bottom gender swap of the entire thing. I think it'd be probably fine.
Yeah.
But no. Eric, do you have a Ben Harp?
I did not have a Ben Harp.
All right. I have one more person to cast.
Okay.
And then Eric can throw in, he may have one or two to add.
Yeah, I got a couple. Real quick.
I was going to cast to try and add to the ex-presidents, and that's where I said Charlie Day should be one of them, but I can't think of the rest of the names, and I don't care who they are. They could be anybody. It doesn't matter. There is one person I have to cast. When Johnny Utah first goes to find the surfers, and he's the bad surfer, he's the fish out of water, and he crosses the surfers and he messes them up and his board gets broken or whatever, and then at the end he's behind the rocks, so he's not being seen by Agent Pappas, whatever. They're fighting and the big guy he's fighting is War Child. That's where I'm putting Tom Hardy.
Oh my God.
Tom Hardy as War Child beating up Agent Utah.
I did cast a War Child. So yeah, I can, we need to talk about that. I did cast a War Child also, but my War Child is Dave Bautista.
Yeah. Bautista, or I did an easy one would be Aquaman. What's his name?
Oh, Jason Momoa.
Momoa, yeah. I think he fits too. But that's my spot. I gotta have a Tom Hardy spot, so that's my Tom Hardy guy.
Got it.
My Tom Hardy is Rosie.
Yeah.
I originally had my Rosie and War Child turn around. I had Tom Hardy as War Child, but the more I thought about it, War Child is the more in your face kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So that's why I switched it with Dave Bautista there, and Tom Hardy is Rosie because
Tom Hardy will kill Taylor. Yeah. Or Tyler.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely. All right. I think that's it.
All right. So I have two other quick ones then.
Yeah.
I cast a Roach, and that's where I put Ezra Miller.
Ah, okay.
And then I had to put Charlie Day somewhere. So where I put Charlie Day was DEA agent Dietz, the Tom Sizemore character whose cover gets blown.
Oh my God.
The comedy might get too big with Charlie Day doing that, but I would love to see Charlie Day playing that angry guy.
Yeah.
When his case is blown.
That's good. I didn't think Charlie Day fit for this, but I thought one of us was going to cast somebody to play Anthony Kiedis.
I was just about to say like that because
Anthony Kiedis could still just play himself. He could step into that role right now and whatever.
I mean, you could maybe put in like who's the popular California singer now? What, Adam Levine or something like that?
You gotta have somebody young, right?
I know.
Justin Bieber. I don't know. All right, memorable scenes and quotable lines. As we said earlier, I don't really think there's much in the way of quotes here. No. But I wrote down a handful, and I got down to about 3. The third one, after the third, the rest of them are nonsense.
Yeah.
It's whatever. I think Eric and I would say the number one is Agent Pappas saying to get him 2 meatball subs.
Yep. Utah, give me 2.
Utah, give me 2.
It's time for lunch.
Angelo, it's 10:30.
Right around that corner, there is a sandwich shop. They sell meatball sandwiches. Best I've ever tasted. Would you go get me 2? Come on, partner. 2. Thank you. Utah, give me 2.
That's number 1 for sure.
The one, and I think this is because I think this was in the trailer, if I remember, is Patrick Bodie says this and then drops backwards out of the airplane. He says, "Adios, amigos," and then he falls out in the skydiving.
Adios, amigos!
And then the third one is the one I remember from this movie the most, I think historically, like even as I was younger, is from Keanu. And it's perfect young Keanu Reeves delivery too. Because I don't know if you call it overacting. I don't know if you call it bad acting. I don't know what it is. But it's when he goes, "Bodie, this is your fucking wake-up call. Man, I am an FBI agent."
Bodie, this is your fucking wake-up call, man. I am an FBI agent.
Yeah. That's perfect Keanu being Keanu.
Yeah.
After that, there's a bunch of stuff here, but there's no real great quotes.
This was a movie for me that, like I said, I remember the visual of it a heck of a lot more than the dialogue. But I remember kind of catching it the last time we watched it here, and I couldn't quite remember it, so I went online to check it. But how it's not more popular, I guess, I'm surprised.
Yeah.
And that is the little hand says it's time to rock and roll, which is what Bodie says. Bodie says it in the van where everybody's putting their masks on and they're syncing their watches.
Yeah.
And they're ready to do the big bank robbery. And that was his kind of thing. And then I think the bank robbery scene for me is where you have the most kind of lines. And that was the other one that I had was, "We've been stealing from you for years. What's a few more minutes?"
Yeah.
The ex-presidents doing the bank robbery. So those were the 2 that I recalled. Like, they stuck out when I watched the movie, but again, if you would have offered me $10,000 to come up with those quotes on my own before I rewatched it, I couldn't have done it.
No way. I got a couple more. I mean, it's like when they're putting on the masks at the end, like the final heist, bank robbery, where Johnny's in the van and they're putting on the masks. And Bodie says, "Sorry, Johnny, looks like you don't get to be president," because they didn't have a thing for him. Also, Keanu talking to John C. McGinley is like, the agent or McGinley's asking him, like, what did you do or what have you done in this case or whatever? And he goes, I caught my first tube this morning, sir, as a surfer.
Right.
And then I think it's in the same, it's when Keanu first gets to the police station, McGinley says, I guess we must have ourselves an asshole shortage.
No, I guess we just must have ourselves an asshole shortage, huh?
Wow.
Again, not super memorable lines, but I was scraping the bottom of the barrel there. Eric, anything else stand out to you line-wise?
The one that stands out to me, and it's more about Patrick Swayze's delivery than anything else. But at the end, when they're at Bell's Beach and he's trying to convince Johnny Utah to let him go, and he's like, I'm not going to paddle to New Zealand. That line always makes me laugh.
Wow.
I always remember that one.
That's a good one.
You put a lot of yourself into that one, Eric.
Yeah.
All right. Last two things before the game of all games. Would this movie work today? They redid it, so I don't know how successful that one was.
It was not.
It worked well enough to get made, but are people going to see it? I don't know. If it was
nobody saw it. It was terrible. It was terrible.
Yeah, but would something like this work today if it wasn't a remake of a beloved classic as Point Break? Theoretically, it could, because you can't go wrong with a heist movie.
Right. Heist movie would it be both surfing and skydiving?
Right.
Yeah, I guess you could argue that extreme sports are always every bit as popular now as they probably even more so than they were then. Yeah. That's like a skydiving, surfing kind of thing would have. Yeah.
It would be like MMA and I don't know, motocross. I don't know what it would be.
Yeah, I don't know.
All right, so
it's just a bunch of skateboarders and
skateboarder. Yeah, that's good.
They get in trouble for skateboarding on the bank stairs and railings and stuff like that. They're just casing out the joint. Come on, it works. It works.
What would
they're on their skateboards robbing banks, and they're like grinding the in between the teller stations.
Yep.
On their skateboards.
What would you want to see in a sequel?
Or
do you want to see a sequel?
I don't.
No.
That reminds me, going back, I guess, to the trivia. I remember, like, Point Break 2 was going to happen.
Wow.
Pretty much up until Patrick Swayze's cancer diagnosis. And I think that's why they switched gears to a remake, was because Patrick Swayze was no longer available, obviously.
Wait, it was that late? Like Point Break 2, like around
they were
2000s?
Yeah, it was somewhere in the late 2000s, early 2010s.
Yeah.
They were seriously talking about it.
So he would have paddled to New Zealand then?
Essentially, yeah.
Just living.
Wow. And there's no like prequel or anything. Like, I feel like they just kind of tied it up in a bow.
Yeah,
and it was.
What do you want to see? The three heists they made before the movie starts? Like.
And I don't think that Johnny Utah's character was strong enough to be like James Bond, where you're just basing, where there's just different crimes that he's
he even quit
investigating.
At the end of the movie, it appeared he quit.
Right.
Do you want to see Johnny Utah try to revive his football career with the XFL? I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, I suppose they technically remade Point Break with the Fast and the Furious. Because that plot line follows Point Break to the letter.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Fast and Furious. All right. America's second favorite game show. The How Much Are They Worth game.
All right.
And now, let's play the How Much Are They Worth game.
We've got Lori Petty, John C. McGinley, Gary Busey, Patrick Swayze, and Keanu Reeves. So, let's do the person that we said had flamed out 20 years ago, Lori Petty.
But she didn't. She had a nice little run on...
You know what I mean. Before Orange is the New Black, she was MIA.
All right.
I don't know where to start with her. I know nothing about her but those 3 movies.
Okay, I got a number.
Eric, you got a number?
I have a number.
What do you got? Because we're ready.
Okay, 3 million.
I have 3 million as well.
I have 5.
5 million. Good. I don't like it when we're so close. But there's, again, with Lori Petty, are you going to say 25? I don't think so. No one's doing that. Okay. Someone has hit it on the head.
I like that you're saying it singularly.
Lori Petty has a net worth of $3 million.
Dang it!
Double it up.
Wow. Do I still get a point from earlier?
You can carry that over to next game.
Oh.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Jonathan Clarence McGinley.
Office Space.
Scrubs, Office Space.
The Rock, Set It Off.
Platoon. He was in Platoon, right?
Yeah. He's had a long career.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been around a long time.
Was he? He's in some Army movie, whichever one it was.
Platoon.
Yeah. That's a dude. I haven't seen him lately, but he had 30 years where he was working constantly.
All right. I got a number.
I have a number.
Oop, wrote it in the wrong space. All right. I'm going to go with 22 million.
Okay.
For Mr. McGinley. Al?
I have 12.
Oh, God. That makes me feel wrong. Eric?
I have 15.
Oh, God almighty, Jesus. John C. McGinley. Ooh. I want to change my answer. Has a net worth of 10 million.
Woo!
Allison gets it.
And I had originally written down 15. I'm like, that feels high.
I was going to say 10, and I thought I was low.
Damn it.
All right, good.
That's the problem.
I don't have 0. That's all I need. I need it now. I can kind of exhale a little bit.
You're
now I can kind of settle into the game and like really make it happen.
All right, this one is Gary Busey, and this middle name is for Polly. Gary Yoshinobu Busey.
Wow.
That was the middle name of the Die Hard guy. Okay.
Gary Busey.
I feel like...
I don't know anything about him.
So I guess, is this
personal life
before or after the drug habit?
Right.
Well, it's whatever the website says today. So, I mean, the drugs have to play a role, right?
Yeah.
I have a number.
I have a number.
Al, you're up.
I have 8 million.
8 with a bullet. I've got 10. Eric?
I've got 5.
Oh.
Okay. Gerald Buchanan Busey. Ooh. Okay. I did not expect that. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Yep.
Gary Busey has a net worth of $500,000.
Ooh.
Wow.
That's too bad.
Eric gets that.
Well, Eric, now your question's been answered.
Yeah. It's definitely after.
Oh, that is after in a big way.
That's too bad.
He's built. He was in the Buddy Holly story, The Firm, Lost Highway, Point Break, Black Sheep. TV shows Gunsmoke, Walker, Texas Ranger, Law and Order, Entourage, and whatever.
He's in Lethal Weapon.
He's doing all kinds of stuff. Yeah. And he had a massive drug problem.
He had a situation.
All right.
Well, at least it's in the positive.
Hey, whatever, man.
That's good. All right.
You know him as Bodie.
All right, so we're doing Patrick.
Patrick Swayze.
The estate of Patrick Swayze.
Yeah, I'm assuming they'll have I don't know. Is it his last known? Or what?
I don't know.
We've done dead people in here before. I don't remember how it works out.
I've got a number. Changing my number. All right.
I wrote it in the wrong place again. Okay. I've got a number. Eric, you got a number?
Yeah, I have a number.
Go for it.
35 million.
That's exactly what I had.
You had 35 as well? I had 34.
Wow.
I had 34. All right. Patrick Swayze, be less than 35. Oh! This can't be right. I call it a new game, new rules, new website. Patrick Swayze has a net worth of $40 million.
Wow.
Ah.
All right.
So you guys both get it.
Yay.
How do I start off with a double whammy and Eric's winning 4-2.
All right.
Keanu Reeves for the win.
Okay. This is when the units get bigger for whatever reason. Like you're talking Matrix money. You're talking
Matrix, John Wick.
Yep. You've got Babes in Toyland money.
The residuals from that alone definitely puts them above Busey.
You got 3 Bill and Ted movies.
Oh, the most recent one. I hope he lost money on that one.
But he still got paid. He got paid up front for that.
Oh, fucking John Wick.
Speed. All right, I got a number.
I have a number.
Oh, I have a number. All right. I think I overdid myself here.
Okay.
I think in classic fashion, I will have made a mistake.
Okay.
My number is 101 million.
You think you overdid it?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm in trouble then.
I think it's not. The Matrix one, I can't figure out. And John Wick, I don't know either.
I've got 175 million.
See, you might be. I may just be fucked.
I have 150.
I couldn't get.
I wrote down 150, Eric, but I'm like, I feel like that might be too conservative. But
I don't know. Like
175 feels like he's pushed it over the.
How big of a star was he with these things? How much back end did he get? Did he have any leverage with when he signed these deals? The Matrix one fucks me up completely, and then John Wick. He made
all the John Wicks.
He lot on the second one, I'm sure. The third one, I don't know.
There's the Devil's Advocate. There's
Devil's Advocate.
That's Constantine.
Where I lost it. Jesus Christ. What was the one where the house or the
lake house?
Mailbox is
the lake
a
house?
Time machine?
Isn't
or
it like the lake?
Yeah.
The lake house. Time machine.
Am I not close on that?
I think it's the lake house.
Mailbox is a time machine. I think that's what it was called, right?
Lake house time machine? Yeah.
Terrible lake house time machine. I want to make that movie. Oh,
that's Dad's
God
house.
Damn it.
I think that's Dad's house, Eric, by the way.
It is.
Enough for this.
Yeah.
I am so far off. I have to. How far were you off that one time?
Oh.
By $1 billion?
By 500 million.
Okay. I did not set the record, but
close enough.
Fucking close enough. Keanu Reeves has a net worth of $350 million.
Good for him.
Damn, wow.
He's a nice guy. He gets it.
Allison wins that and loses to Eric 4-3.
Oh. Dang.
I feel better now.
Because of the Lori Petty?
Fucking Lori Petty, man.
Wow.
I feel like I redeemed myself because I'm pretty sure the last time we did this, I got a great big goose egg. I had nothing. I was shut out the last time.
I think that's true.
So I've redeemed myself. I feel better.
You still weren't as bad as the Martin Scorsese net worth differential.
Being off by $500 million.
I guessed his I would say box office gross as opposed to his net worth. Like I was almost like spot on the box office gross.
Two things are great about this game. One, historically, I am the worst at it, and I created it.
Yes.
So wonderful. Number two, no one is keeping a score or knows anything about how anyone has done historically, and we could make it up and no one would even know because no one cares. But yeah, it's we don't keep records. We don't know what we said on the last podcast. That's the best part of it. It's in the ether and it disappears.
Right. We all start fresh.
I couldn't tell you what I did last week. I couldn't tell you what you did last week or last podcast. So it's great. All right, Eric, anything to sum up Point Break, the classic that it is?
We never really talked about it, but just the sequence where Keanu Reeves jumps out of an airplane with no parachute on to catch up with Patrick Swayze is still an amazing scene.
That's some James Bond shit right there.
That's some crazy stuff, no matter what.
I think this movie, I think we've proved in this podcast that this movie is more of a meme than a movie. Like you remember characters, but not quotes. The plot is ludicrous. It's a bunch of extras except for the main three people, really. It's sort of a weird movie. Everyone remembers it fondly, but when you sort of look at it, it's kind of in the background with all these other movies that came out around it.
I feel like this movie has as many endings as Lord of the Rings: Return of the King. Like that movie's got like 4 different endings.
You think it's over and then it keeps going.
Right, and then it keeps going. It's the same thing with this movie. Like I feel like it's over, and then I was like, oh yeah, this happens and this happens, and was convinced that the big wave would have happened 25 minutes earlier in the movie because that felt like the right ending as opposed to 3 other scenes that felt like it was the end of the movie.
Yep, I agree. All right, Point Break, it's over.
We have done it.
Adios, amigos.